Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So, what's the time, Mr. Wall? So, it's 10 to 12 uh, in our old England, my delicious little babies, on this morning of the 4th of April 2026. And we're going to switch my lights on. We're going to see whether my lights work today, my delicious little babies. Oh, oh, look at that. First time, my delicious little babies. Now then, so I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously, my little beautifuls, okay? Now then, so what do I have for you today, my little lovelies? Well, you see, the thing is, as I, keep repeating, my videos do not seem to get out, and well, there's very little that I personally can do about that, my delicious little babies. Okay, so all I can keep doing is, pumping the videos out, and that somebody hears and somebody sees. Okay, my delicious little babies, and I hope that wherever you are, that you're feeling the love, that you continue to feel the love. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, so what have I got for you today? Now then, let's go. Sorry about that, my delicious little babies. Let's go to the first video, shall we? So there's only three today, okay, my delicious little babies, and they're all they are super duper that I regard. Well, any videos that I advertise, I regard them all being important and most significant, my delicious little babies. But these are, I've talked about, put it this way, my delicious little babies, I've talked about things now then for whatever o'clock. Okay, my delicious little babies, and at the end of the day, put it this way, more would know about it if my videos got out. There we are. Okay, my delicious little babies, because even though some may know some things about some things, they may very sadly not know about other things, my delicious little babies, including myself. Okay, so I am not exempt from anything, my delicious little babies, I like to call myself, there we are, very streetwise, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. But even for myself, the occasional things I do not know, but I happen to know, there we are, a fair bit about what I'm talking about, my delicious little babies, okay? So what I'm going to be giving you today. So let's go on to the first one, my delicious little babies, okay? This is flipping hilarious, this video, my delicious little babies. You really got to watch it, And of course, none of these came up on my feed, my delicious little babies. This is the funny one, okay? The other two are extremely serious, okay, my delicious little babies. But this one here, if you do not laugh, okay, my delicious little babies, there's something, there we are, seriously wrong. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay. So that doesn't mean, no, just got a bit of hair in your mouth. So this uploader happens to have 357,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. There's two where I've never seen the uploaders, this one and another one, but the other one I have, I'm pretty sure I'm going back months ago, whatever, a clock ago, when I advertised this woman now then, okay, and with anybody not in that way. So this uploader, or these uploaders rather, are called capital T, all on YouTube, by the way, my delicious little babies, the space capital G, good, space capital L, liars. Liar, 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 bums on fire. Okay, my delicious little baby, so I'm just going to repeat this again for you. The good liars, all with spaces. I'm not talking to our delicious little babies out there who already know who these uploaders are. I'm talking to our delicious little babies who are unaware of who these are, okay? Me personally, I've never seen them before, but looking at this video now then, I found it utterly hilarious. Okay, my delicious little babies, so the video should read, it's not very long, my delicious little babies, okay? Is this one about... I don't know, is it about under 10 minutes or something? Anyway, something like that, okay? There's only one that's over 23 minutes, okay? My delicious little babies, I'll leave that one till last. This video should read, The Good Liars Visit a Medbed Hotel. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat this again for you, shall I? The Good Liars Visit a Medbed Hotel. Okay, my delicious little babies, now then. So what is this about in brief, my delicious little babies? So I'm going to tell you what this is about now, okay? So they pass Butler, you know, Butler. Okay, my delicious little babies, you know, over in Barn in the USA, okay? And anyway, and well, basically, they check into this hotel. You know, like when you see the what they call these massive these aren't like chandeliers. This is like a ball, like a crystal ball. Okay, my delicious babies. It's not the kind of crystal ball that you're thinking of, my delicious babies. The last time I used a crystal ball, I fell asleep. I stared at it that much that I fell asleep. My delicious babies, okay, so it never worked for myself. Cost me 30, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And that's not coding, my delicious babies. So I gave it away. I gave her away. And I specifically bought her to see if I could look in the crystal ball. I'm going back many years ago, my delicious babies. I was concentrating that much that I flipping fell asleep. Well, stand by that. Okay, my delicious babies. So anyway, so it's hilarious. Anyway, so but this is like a great big colossal. That doesn't mean no. Like crystal light fitting. You couldn't miss it. My delicious little babies, cat. And I remember going back to when I was about, because when I looked at it, I thought, hold on a minute. I thought when I got my very first rented property, a brand new build, my delicious little babies, I was only I was 18, but that was when I was about 19 when I got it, and it's a light fitting. It was a frosted though, it wasn't this crystal business, and it was just a little frosting, you know, for my bathroom. Where I'd moved to, my delicious little babies, you know, it sort of screws up to the ceiling, do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Anyway, it just sort of reminded me of that, really. I mean, I'm 52 now, my delicious little babies, okay? I also remember putting up another shorty video when I popped into a Latin centre. It's not there anymore. What's there now? It's called the Potters. It's like this religious church. Okay, my delicious little babies, it's very colossal actually to look at. Whereas it started off the other side of the road, a bit further down, a lot smaller. Anyway, my delicious little babies, and I was showing like these colossal lighting, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, sort of just cast me a noddle back, if you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. Yes. Anyway. So they walks in, don't they? And they're having a look around, and they're lifting these, you know, which look like doesn't mean no. I just got an itch. These large, looks like a little briefcase in gold. Gold. Always believe in your soul. Spandau Ballet, wasn't it, my delicious babies? What year was that video? And what year was that song? My delicious babies. Anyway, and anyway, they were most heavy. They're at the end of the bed. My delicious babies. Okay, the beds look just pretty normal. Okay, anyway, so they carried on having a look around, you know, and seeing what was on offer, you know, for sale. And I mean, some things now are rather pricey, Martinish babies. Of course, when you went into another place, is it where this, and then like you've got like on the ground, there's another gold, it's a circle, circle, circle. And you've got like little blue napkins on there, Martilicious little babies, you know what I mean? You've sort of got these little, I suppose, little gold barrels in all different places, Martilicious little babies. Anyway, I should imagine for ones who have got ka-ching, 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 we're in the money, we're in the money. I should imagine, Martilicious little babies, if you got the ka-ching, will eat your heart out, do you know what I mean? Because let me tell you, it could be quite a pricey night. Okay, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so fast forward. They woke up the next morning, and your one man there, and of course they went not in that way, not in that way. And your man there, he opened the blind, and he said his mucker, his mate, said to him, he said, how did you sleep? He said, well, and he went, to stretch, looking out the window. He said, well, I feel lighter. He said, I feel $250 later. Slap that back. Flipping hilarious. So then anyway, in this little video, it shows what's in one of these, these round gold barrel things. Okay, Martinish, but they're not very tall. They're about this tall, off the ground, Martinish, but they're not very tall. It turns out it's concrete, yeah. I did a video not so long ago, Martinish babies, a little short video showing concrete. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, flipping hilarious. Okay, Martinish babies. So what is that telling you? What is that telling you? So you get a good night's shut-eye in your, what we call old-fashioned Irish saying, in your cot, Martinish babies, okay? And you feel 250 kachinga later, Martinish babies, flipping hilarious. You've got to watch it, Martinish babies, it's flipping hilarious, okay? Now, I've happened to know about these med beds for quite a while now. The first time I actually heard about them was on our dear, not in that way, our dear, the Charlie Ward show, Martinish babies, and I heard that they're all super duper well. He looks well, does dear Charlie, not in that way. Anyway, but that's the first time I heard about these. So we're going back about, is it over 6 years ago? Something like that now then, these med beds. Well, these med beds in this hotel look very different to the med beds that was being advertised, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So anyway, I'm going to put it this way. I'm just going to leave it like that now then, okay? But it flipping made me howl. Oh, the sun has got his hat on, hip, 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 hooray. Yeah, it's rather windy. It was even more windy yesterday, Martin, babies, and it's rather chilly out there today, but the sun is shining, weather is sweet, yeah. Mind you, it might be sweeter in another country. It might be hotter there, Martin, babies, than what it is here. You know what I mean? Very deceiving, when the sun's out. So, you'd want to just get your bikini top on and just trap outside. Well, put it this way, you'll certainly get lots of lots of goosebumps, Mardelishtik babies, everywhere. Anyway, Mardelishtik babies, so that's that. Okay. Now, the next one, Mardelishtik babies, okay? These will more than likely be one-offs, okay, that I'm advertising today, Mardelishtik babies, okay? So this upload happens to have 103,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, and it's called capital F, fact, space, capital Q, quickie. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Fact, quickie with space. Okay, my delicious little babies. This video here, again, I think this is about 9 minutes long or something. It's not a long video, my delicious babies, okay? And and the video should read, that time Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, tried to sell. I do not regard this as a swear word, okay, my delicious babies, but some may think I'm being rather vulgar. Well, come on. if one's having a rumble in the jungle, swinging from the old chandeliers, I'm sure that they've used much, put it this way, sensuous and there we are, stronger language than what I'm going to use, my delicious little babies. There we are. Yes, yeah, when all cold across my shoulders there. Spunk water. Okay, my delicious little babies in the UK. And hilarity that ensued. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? At that time, Coca-Cola tried to sell spunk water in the UK, and hilarity that ensued. Yes, my delicious little babies, okay, so I've never seen this uploader either, my delicious little babies. Anyway, fast forward, get back to the matter in hand. So, what is this about? Well, it's in the title. So that's not me being sarcastic to you, my delicious little babies. And thank you for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments, my delicious little babies. Well, anyway, what's this about, my delicious little babies? Well, basically, yeah, it's clear to myself it's like a brand of water, okay? And, well, they wanted to sell it to us in our old England, my delicious little babies. Now, come on now. If we look at the name Red Bull, okay, my delicious little babies, I know many over my decades who like that energy drink, Red Bull. But the thing is, it's in the name, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? It's in the name. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, and I'm pretty sure that, going back to this video now, that, I mean, I could go to any shop in England, my delicious little babies. In fact, to go all over the world. All over the world. You know what I mean? ELO. What year? I haven't sang that song for a while, have I, my delicious little babies? Anyway. And if you could only see how much Coca-Cola, one seem to buy far more Coca-Cola than they do Pepsi, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? Okay? If you could only see how much is bought in the space of minutes, bing, like that. Okay, my delicious little babies. So it's clearly a very addictive drink, my delicious little babies, just like, well, the worst one I feel is this diet crap. There's nothing diet about it, but one's become that addicted, okay, that they solely believe to their heart of hearts that this is doing them good. Okay, it's certainly not. There's nothing diet about it at all. Okay, but it wouldn't surprise myself one bit, my delicious little baby. And I thought about this when I was listening to the video. I've still got the other half to listen to. But I was sparing a thought for this, my delicious little babies. And I thought, you know what, it wouldn't surprise myself, because there was a lawsuit or something, or solicitor's suit, it's all in the name, isn't it, my delicious little babies? There's always one's making a bit of ka-ching, sometimes a lot of ka-ching off the other party now. Nothing would surprise me, because who knows exactly, there we are, what goes into it. Now, there are thousands of videos on the internet, my delicious little babies, where they've been trying to master exactly, and I watched them, my delicious little babies, I watched some of them, as how to make Coca-Cola. Okay, now some, there we are, actually filled, it was not so long ago I was watching some, they actually feel that, there we are, that they've cracked the code, you know what I mean, of everything what goes into it, my delicious little babies, but no. I reckon, there we are, there's a couple of other ingredients, there we are, that maybe give it that extra taste. There we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Come on, if they've been doing it to Red Bull, whatever o'clock. There we are. It's ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense, isn't it? You know what I mean? So you wouldn't know, would you? If you look at it on a serious note, I'm only giving my view. I'm a woman with a view. There we are. I shall have my effing view, and that's my effing view. But Coca-Cola, I would say, there we are, it's a top in the world for a fizzy drink, isn't it? It's larger, in my view, it's larger than Pepsi, larger than Fanta, it's larger than a lot of the large names, 7 Up and all of them. It seems to go full steam ahead. It's like, you got like ones who are just jogging, and then you got others who are, let's just say, sprinting. You know what I mean? Martin Little Babies, yes. Anyway, well worth a little listen to that Martin Little Babies, okay? Now, finally, okay, and I'm entitled to my view. So if I'm talking about Coca-Cola or any other name, I'm not doing anything different, there we are, to what anybody else does. It's just that certain channels, whatever you say, there we are, they seem to, just a figure of speech, they seem to target Martin Little Babies, and that doesn't mean no, you know what I mean? It's like once they've got your card marked, you know what I mean? Martin Little Babies, that's how I am. Do you say? Anyway, don't worry about it. It's not very often in my lifetime where I've really done as I'm told, to be honest. It's very rare I ever do as I'm told. Sometimes you've got to turn the line with the occasional thing now then. But then sometimes you've got to get from A to B, haven't you, Martin Little Babies, you know what I mean? But for most things, I never really do as I'm told, because I can be naughty, 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 naughty. Do you know what I mean? Martin Little Babies, okay? In a nice way, in a sweet way. Okay, Martin Little Babies now then. Finally, this is the one, Martin Little Babies. It's over 23 minutes long. And this uploader happens to have 71.5 thousand subscribers, Martin Little Babies, okay? And it's called Lee's, I'll spell it for you, Martin Little Babies, capital L, then the rest in little writing, E-I, apostrophe S. Okay, Martin Little Babies, space, capital L, looking, and space, capital G, glass. So I'll just repeat the uploader for you, Martin Little Babies, okay? So it's called Lee's Looking Glass. I think that's an apostrophe. I get confused now. You know, with all these different, we all know the hyphen, don't we, Martin Little Babies? We know the comma. Come, chameleon, you come and go, you come and go. Loving would be easy if your colors were like my dream. Red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Okay, what year was that song, Martin Little Babies? I haven't sang that for a while, have I? Now then, Culture Club. Right, so the video should read, the war exposed a hidden human supply chain. Okay, Martin Little Babies, I'm just going to repeat that again for you. The war exposed a hidden human supply chain. Okay, Martin Little Babies, now I'm going to close my book. Yeah, occasionally, I might send different symbols. One was Piglet. The piglets. Okay, Martin Little Babies, so now we need to go back to where we need to go back to, shall we, Martin Little Babies? Okay, so we need to go backwards now then. What is this about? Very quickly, Martin Little Babies, and they call it human. That is what we've been called, Martin Little Babies, human. Well, I'd call us mankind, actually, okay, because for the majority of us, Martin Little Babies, there we are mankind, okay? Human is just another form of what they address us as. Okay, Martin Little Babies. Anyway, this is an extremely, there we are, serious video to take a listen to, Martin Little Babies. Now, I've been talking whatever o'clock long times about this. There is a name, and to this day, I cannot remember the name. And this is to do with, and I'm not here to depress, to upset or offend anybody, Martin Little Babies. I'd never in a million years ever do that, okay? I'm just not that kind of woman, do you know what I mean? I might be a bitch sometimes, I might be a little cow, I love little cows, figure of speech, I might be a cow sometimes, but, I do have my nice side, you know what I mean, Martin Little Babies, all right. Some do not in that way, not in that way. Some do see me now sad. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. Just in everyday things that I do, just by going outside and breathing and talking to somebody else is showing my nice side, okay? Because it's nice to be nice. Anyway, the fact of the matter is I've talked about this organ harvesting, there we are, for a long time, Marzlichtig babies, okay? And there we are, very big business, okay? Years ago, myself and me lovely dear little friend Kaz, bless her, we were talking on one of my videos to do with placentas. There's just a lot of different topics and subjects that I've been talking about over the years on my videos. There we are, which is a reality, not stories. Never needed to stumble there. Realities, there we are, of one's lives. So while I'm sat here and I feel truly blessed, there we are, to sit here in my camera to you today, Marzlichtig babies, or any other day for that matter. And I'm just so blessed that I can just walk from room to room. I can go out in nature with my beautiful little Ruby Tuesday, my beautiful little Mesmer who wants to come sometimes. I can just talk to others, just have a normal, everyday conversation. Well, not everybody can, Marzlichtig babies, okay? They are trafficked. They are treated, there we are, most appallingly, okay? And what I want to also mention in my camera, and I couldn't give a fiddler's F with what I say, because I speak in, there we are, defence of these poor, dear little souls, bless them all, okay? So if one's, let's just say, accepts organs, then those organs are, number one, coming from somebody who was alive at the time. Number two, well, it should all be number one, really. Number two is to the fact that if somebody has been very physically assaulted, if you know what I'm talking about, Marzlichtig babies, and had other horrendous things done, well, whoever was to have their organ, okay, or organs, okay, because it's big, ka-ching, 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 it's big business, Marzlichtig babies. Let me tell you, it's effing colossal, man. And this is going on in the world, in all different countries, this one included. Okay, this is big business. Okay, Marzlichtig babies, oh yes it is. Okay, it's damn rank and it's damn putrid and disgusting, but anyway. If they have those organs, what are they receiving? Surely they're receiving from the trauma that somebody else, very sadly, there we are, has had to endure. There we are. I mean, you've heard about it, haven't you? I've talked about this on my videos, Marzlichtig babies, where, there's been like a heart operation and, there's been a heart operation, for an example, where very sadly, somebody's dear daughter or son has very sadly passed away, and then their heart has been then transplanted to somebody else who needed a heart, they say. But the one who has received the heart, it's especially the heart actually, okay, Marzlichtig babies, they seem to take on the traits of where the heart, that beautiful heart, not in that way, where that beautiful heart came from. So they take on the traits of who that heart belonged to. Okay, this has been proven. There we are, okay? Marzlichtig babies, and I know this, there we are, from a long time, years ago. There we are, okay? So you imagine if somebody has had to endure and had to suffer at the hands of putrid pieces of shite, in my view. Okay, because they certainly, in my view, should not be walking this earth. That's just my view, Marzlichtig babies, okay? You imagine that, and then somebody else is having that poor dear little soul's organs. Imagine all the people. And of course, in this video, it also talks about, so it wasn't quite brief, but anyway, I'm nearly at the end now. This is also talking about, it's talking about a number of things, surrogacy, it's talking about, it's a very, I feel there we are, extremely important video, Martin Babies, there we are, to please and thank you take a listen to, but of course my videos never get out, so very few ever get to see, okay, and yes, as frustrating as it is, I have to tell myself, just leave it, Carla, you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, like I say, I hope that somebody who can see and hear what I'm saying, there we are, because there always is, okay, that's on my side. And I'm sorry to have to say it that way, but we have to, who's on my side, who gets where I'm coming from here, and to get this information out. There we are, that's all I ask, okay? That's all I ever ask. Do you know what I mean? I do this as a hobby, Marzlichtig Babies, but thank goodness for uploaders like this woman now, and bless her. You see what I mean, Marzlichtig Babies? Because these things now should be well out into the open. But of course, what others try to do is to hide everything. Do you know what I mean, Marzlichtig Babies? So nobody sees nothing. Okay, this is very real. There we are. This is what goes on, Marzlichtig Babies. And I believe, there we are, that everybody should know about it. Well, of course, there's ones who know, especially if they're making ching, ching, ching out of it. Of course, they know. Do you know what I mean? It's common sense. But so that, once again, I'm not being sarcastic there, Marzlichtig Babies, but if others knew what was going on, okay, and bless their dear little souls who are not aware and they work up to this, let me tell you, we would be, there we are, in a very different world, because ones would no longer believe in, you know, that you need an organ for this, you need an organ for that. They wouldn't believe in it. See, stumbled again. I'm not changing my video. I'm not changing my video. Why should I? You know, my heart goes out to all of these dear little souls who, there we are, who very sadly have suffered at the hands of putrid who are not mankind. They're certainly not Marzlichtig Babies, they're far from it. They've got no skin on the boat race, old-fashioned Jamaican saying, for what they do. This is damn sick, man. Anyway, Marzlichtig Babies, so wherever you are in the world, just a little bit of time out your day or night. I'm not here to depress, to upset or offend anybody. There we are, but we need to get real. Well, I'm already real about it. Need to get real, and there are other uploaders who fully well, there we are, would get where I'm coming from. Do you know what I mean? But others now, bless their dear little souls, need to get real, there we are, about what is going on and what has been going on, there we are, for a very long time. Okay, Marzlichtig Babies, there's also talk about on there, that's what I want to say. You know, that ones can live to 150, yeah, that number again comes to 6, you know what I mean, Marzlichtig Babies? But the question is, who to live till 150, as I say? Who are they talking about? Because from what I can see from the culling, what's gone on over the decades in our country and all around the world, Marzlichtig Babies, they're certainly not referring to you and I out here, Marzlichtig Babies, so us to live to 150. So do you follow? There we are, what I'm saying, Marzlichtig Babies. Oh, by the way, there's one last video, I forgot what it's called. What's it called? 1A. I think it's capital WONNY, 1A, on YouTube, Marzlichtig Babies Kai. I forgot how many subscribers he has now. Anyway, and I was watching it yesterday evening. Yeah, there's a new thing in China, Marzlichtig Babies, where they hang themselves up. It's like a chin thing, and then they hang themselves up, and then they swing round, and then they do all this. Apparently, it's supposed to help with their neck. You need to watch that on YouTube, Marzlichtig Babies, please and thank you. So it's capital, I'm pretty sure it's capital W1A ONNY, okay? And then you'll see it, okay? Now, this is supposedly, and then the Chinese, especially the elderly, they're down on all fours, so they're walking and crawling like crocodiles. Apparently, this is going to help them live longer, help all of their body, you know, well, basically to be much fitter. Some of them whack their heads against metal this especially the elderly, and some whack their heads and their bodies against the trees. Okay, well, of course, as we very well know, the metal in the trees win all, every time, don't they, Martin Schlick babies? You know what I mean? Because some have ended up in a hospital. With severe bruising and everything, so it clearly has not helped those dear little souls, has it? Anyway, my Lichtig babies, just goes to show there we are, what a bonkers, crackers and crazy world we're in. But it also goes to show, which is what Wani said, is that, one message, bing, can get passed on to a large number, and then they all believe in this. Okay, there we are, my Lichtig babies. Well, I certainly do not fancy this chin business and hanging myself up from a tree or something and just swinging around and doing all this for the next hour or so, Martin Schlick babies. It's certainly not my cup of tea, or smacking my head against one of our beautiful trees, or a metal bar. No. Who really in their right noddle would ever want to do that, Martin Schlick babies? But these are different things now, there we are, that go on in the world. There we are, and it's very real. Martin Schlick babies. Okay. So once again, wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. Yeah, and how I love you also. Okay, Martin Schlick babies, you are super duper wonderful, super duper delicious, and I love you. Okay, Martin Schlick babies. But yeah, I very much doubt that is AR. I very much doubt that at all, Martin Schlick babies. But it tells us one thing, Martin Schlick babies, that there are so many millions in the world who are so afraid to pass over. Okay, Martin Schlick babies. It's like there's this awful fear of passing over. Do you know what I mean, Martin Schlick babies? What my thoughts are is, if they never spent so much time, this is just my thoughts, Martin Schlick babies, spent so much time worrying about that in the first place, they wouldn't be making themselves poorly and ill through it. There we are, simple things. You know what I mean? So you have to train your noddle, in my view, another way. So it's like a different thought pattern. Okay, Martin Schlick babies. So until my next video, please do enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening. How I love you so. Thank you once again for any views, for any likes, for the occasional comments, okay? But I always mean well. There we are with what I'm doing, okay? Even if my information never gets saved, at least I'm trying. Okay, Martin Schlick babies, and some days I can be very trying. I'm only joking, Martin Schlick babies. Love ya. Take care. Thank you. I'm being serious. Goodbye.